Hey, besties. Let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? At the end of the day, I believe we all just want to be understood. This episode was important. It was important to see some layers of Sutton. It was important for her to be vulnerable. It was important for her to open up, bring back some of the realness. Watching this episode tonight just felt like the old reality TV where people really gave you their real life stories and not all this bickering and fussing and fighting and backstabbing and gossiping. Um, let's get into it. Welcome, besties. You are now behind the shade. Thanks for joining me. I review your favorite reality shows weekly. Now let's kiki and ha ha and get into another episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's season 4, episode 11. Mind your business. Do we like the title of this episode? Yes, because Sutton's mother, I will refer to her as her name, Reba. You know, I rarely do that. But since she just had a great presence in this tonight's episode, she will get a name. I can remember it due to the country singer. Reba told Garcelle to mind your business. How would you rate this week's episode, besties? You already know I loved it. It's a 10 for me. It was a 10. You drop down the comments and you let me know what you thought about tonight's episode of Beverly Hills. And don't forget to like this video, please. It's free and an easy way to support my channel. It's growing slowly, but I need more likes. I need more subscribers. Please make sure you are subscribed. If you hang out, if you listen, subscribe. Why not? Turn on your notification bell. Ding dong. So that you know each and every time I post my content. Now, back in Augusta, Kyle has learned that Reba, Sutton's mother, was her dad's favorite child. Her father taught her to be strong and independent. So Kyle asked her, "What sign are you?" She says, "I'm a Cancer, but I'm not nurturing." And Kyle's like, get it. I get it. And you know, Reba just talks crap all the time. Like Kyle was coming into the house, she went for a run. And so she's like, "Oh, you went running?" She's like, "Yeah. And I got to pick a bone with your daughter because she sent me to the left to go up to this street. And it wasn't that way, it was the other way." And her mom's just like, "Oh yeah, you would have if you would have walked to China, never found it that way." But she was like, "But you know, you're supposed to run between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. This is too late." It was like a little after 11 when she got back. So it's probably summer, humid, whatever. And I'm like, she just be talking. And that's fine, right? So Kyle goes upstairs and gets, get a little glam. And so Sutton is up there. So she asked Sutton, she asked about her dad. Like, okay, now what happened? And so Sutton is like, my dad was our rock in this family. So her father unalived himself when Sutton was in her 20s. She didn't make it. She was in her 20s, like maybe 25, 26. And so Pop suffered a chronic depression and the meds didn't help. They were trying to figure out what dosage, how much to give him, what to do. They didn't know. So he began drinking more. Okay. And then he would just talk out the side of his neck, but he would say that he wanted to pow pow himself. So, child, one day he did it. It was 2 days before Christmas, and he did it. And yeah. So meanwhile, Reba is bullying Avi downstairs in the kitchen. He trying to cook Brunch. Well, where it happened to breakfast? Well, it's brunch now. Go get dressed. Get dressed? I am dressed. You don't want to change clothes? No. Okay, you want to make a drink? You want to drink? What you serving? This, that. I don't like that. Bloody Mary. Yeah, I'll have that. So he attempts to make it. Oh, I don't like that ice. It's like, whoo, Lord. It's like, oh my goodness, this woman, like, goodness gracious. So Reba, no, so Garcelle says Reba, this is in her confessional. She says Reba and Sutton are the apple and the tree. They are just alike. That little snarkiness, that little bite that they have. Sutton treats them like Sutton's mom treats her. So Garcelle and Reba go sit outside. They got the cocktails, and seems like Reba is warming up to Garcelle. She asked her, "Did you want some ice with your drink?" No, it's cool. You look nice, but you look nice too. So she was warming up to Garcelle. So they sit down, and so Garcelle tells Reba, Sutton is proud of how far she's came, and she would like to hear you say you're proud of her. And she would like for you to say you love her too. She said, it's none of your business. And I'm not trying to offend you, but you don't know. You don't know. And Garcelle agreed. She said, I know, I don't know. I wasn't raised in your house with you, and I wasn't. And I was like, Garcelle, like, stop. She's not a housewife. She is Sutton's mother. You don't need to be so mouthy talking to somebody's mother. I know you're grown, you're pushing 60, whatever, but this woman is 82 years old. Can you just, it wasn't disrespectful, but you don't have to, don't be so mouthy. Because, honey, she is already a ticking bomb. Like, you just don't want to, don't mess with that lady. Be quiet. Just kind of, have some decorum. So Garcelle agreed and then tells her she misses her mom and she wishes, there was things that she could tell her and all that. And so Reba asked her, "Are you delivering me a message?" And so Garcelle's like, "You know what? Yeah, yeah, I guess I am." Like, sure, I think so. And so she's like, "Yeah, I know you can't call your mom and you can't say da 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 da." And so, she's like, "No, I can't. Life is short." So Sutton comes out to tell him to get ready. The brunch is ready. And so Garcelle and Reba toast. They get up to go inside. And Reba tells her, and that will be $1,000, ma'am. Because, Reba is a therapist and she plans to retire soon. And I'm like, how is this woman a therapist besides the obvious? She went to school and got her master's and practice, but I guess yeah, okay. So in Garcelle's confessional, she says Reba got hurt and she shut down somewhere along the line. And she says, no, I think I got it. I got it. Reba is jealous of Sutton and her dad's relationship because, they were really close. And I'm sitting here like, wait, what? Back up, Garcelle. Do you not remember what happened? Do you know the story about her father? Okay, let's assume she does. Sutton's father is Reba's husband, right? Okay, you know that. You put that together. Reba was in the house when he pow-powed himself. You are aware of that. She heard it. She had to discover him. She had to call for help. Girl, you think she's jealous? Well, ma'am, I think she's angry, hurt, stuck, hasn't moved on, hasn't dealt with her grief. Yeah, that's what I think. She hasn't dealt with it. And just because it happened some odd years ago don't mean nothing. Grief is not linear. There's no time living on grief, honey. She hasn't dealt with it. She hasn't dealt with it. And I got questions about that. How are you? I'll get to that. Okay, so they're inside, child. They eating some good old grits, and I love grits, besties. OMG, I love me some grits. And so Kyle doesn't have grits on her plate. And someone pointed it out, and Kyle's looking like, don't start with me. Let me just eat my eggs and my raspberries, okay? So Kyle says, I'm going to get the grits next. And so Reba says she probably think it's sugar in them. And so Garcelle's like, yeah, I don't get why people put sugar in their grits. I don't either. And she says, only northern people put sugar in their grits. I'm like, okay. And if any of you guys are on Facebook, I'm sure you have seen the debate over and over and over again about what goes in grits. And I am to this day, you put a little salt in the water, add the grits, make them creamy, stir them up. And you can, people add whatever. Whipping cream, they add heavy whipping cream, butter, cheese, make them, just stir them up and make them things creamy and smooth, baby. And little, little pepper. I like pepper on my grits. So, Sutton wants to take the girls to her family house where she was raised. It's somewhere close by. All the homes in Augusta are beautiful and southern and country and just beautiful, right? Great landscaping and all that. And she says, oh, the house was built in 1933. Here go Reba. It was 1939. It's like, okay, goodness. Okay, lady, okay. But they're gonna ring the doorbell and see if they can go in. And Reba is like, oh no, heavens to Betsy. Don't ring the bell. No, what horror that could be. And it's like, are you going with them? I know you ain't going. And so she's not. So Sutton was like, well, I'll update you. She said, please don't. So yes, Garcelle, Reba is stuck. She is stuck. December 23rd, 2002, I believe. That's when her life stopped and she got stuck. That's one layer to her problem. She actually explains what the other stuff is about. So you have trauma, you have the way her father raised her, and then she points out another thing later on. So they didn't. Sutton and called the new residents, asked if they could come inside. They were waiting on them, and I was just wondering, like, when you buy a house, I was wondering about the Georgia laws. When you buy a house and someone, passed away in it, don't they have to disclose? They have to disclose that information to the sellers. I was wondering if Georgia has to. Is that the law in Georgia also? Because that's the law here in Cali and it's in Nevada. So back in Beverly Hills, honey, Erica calls Dorit and shows her on FaceTime the renovations that are happening. The contractors are there, they're painting, and they got the doors all open and they're outside in the backyard. They are getting that house together, honey. So far, her hallway has been painted. It's mostly white with some black stripes towards the end. Looks pretty good, but the hallway is so narrow. Okay, but she love it, so that's all that matters. She has to live there. Okay, great. So over at Bo's house, she's sitting down, made a little charcuterie board for her and her daughter, bunch of sweets, and she sits down and asks her daughter, like, how does she feel if she had another kid? And here's another smart child. Where are they getting these smart children from? Her daughter's 15. And she says, yeah, have another kid. Yeah, that's totally fine. She's like, for real? And she said, yeah, because our bond is evolving. Like, I don't need you no more. I'm 15, baby. I'm about to be up out of here. Give me 3 more years. I'm gone. So, yeah, go ahead and give your love to someone else. And I couldn't help but think about Family and Fiance. Yesterday I reviewed it, and remember the guy, the cousin James, when his daughter found out that they had lost a kid, And she was just like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe you're trying to have another kid. It may be possible. You might try again. You haven't done, you got to repair the relationship you have with me and my sister. She was so upset. And he was like, so I got to ask you, like he was oblivious to it. She was like, yeah, you should ask. Yes. Because when you need a daycare, when you need a babysitter, you're going to call me first. So just to see this, it was totally, a whole different dynamic. And it was just automatic to sit your kid down, give them some sugar, and then ask the question. So she like, okay, cool. So back in Augusta, they drive up to Sutton's childhood home. And of course, she gets a little choked up. They're like, you going to be okay? She's like, uh-huh. You just got to take a deep breath. You haven't seen this house. There it is. All your memories are coming back to you. It's thick. The atmosphere has changed and you have to breathe a little differently to, your nervous system changes, honey. So the occupants greeted them, they met, said their names, come on in, even you, black lady, and enjoy, take your time, it's okay. And so we go inside the house. It's nice, definitely a country theme going on, right? But baby, when I tell you, it was just cluttered, full of stuff. Every wall had a decoration. I mean, everything. Just if it was a table, it was a tablecloth. It was candles. Oh my god, this place was overly decorated. But it was their home, so that's their style. Okay, just something I noticed. It was just overly decorated and cluttery looking. So they go inside. Mm, so they go, we get to see Sutton's childhood bedroom and then her parents' bedroom, and they just really love the space and all that. So then they go downstairs. No, it wasn't an upstairs, downstairs. It was just a ranch style house. So they go into like a den area, seating area. And this place is the last place where Sutton saw her father. She saw him, breathing the day before he stopped breathing, right? And this particular room was a room he designed himself and he built it. So there's an add on to the house. And so, she saw him the day before he, pow himself, and he was a little sick. And so she came by. She had something going on, some dance. And so it was the after party or something. And she had came over to the house to get some wine. And so normally when she comes into the house, he puts his hand out and, they dap, say, he'll tell her, love you, proud of you, love, whatever, just little, woo woo, right? So this particular time, he did not put his hand out because he was sick. And so she just pulled on his toe and then she left because she had somewhere to go. And so one thing about grief is it makes you feel guilty. No one knows. And we just always go down that rabbit hole. She crying because she felt like, I wish I just would have sat down with him for 5 minutes. I was being so selfish. And it's like, no, you wasn't. Life was life. You was living life. And baby, 5 minutes wouldn't have been enough had you known that would be the last time. If you knew that was the last time, Sutton, you wouldn't have left. Okay? You would not have left his side. Now, that's not your fault. There's nothing you could have done differently that would have changed this narrative. You are not being selfish, but we're going to let her get it out and we're going to let her grieve. So she said after he passed, she wouldn't come into that room for months. So Sutton feels like she may have had some closure now. She's leaving with a smile, and now she wants to mend things with her mom because things have not been right since her dad passed. Exactly. So let me drink some water. Gotta get that water in, besties. So Bose meets up with Erica and Dorit at a restaurant. Bose calls Erica, hey boo thing. And I was like, girl, Erica is hip. Hip, she's a hip white chick. You could have called her Boo Thing, because that's what I call some of my homegirls. What's up, Boo Thing? Bose is like, I'm not gonna give Erica the thing. I'm not gonna give her the A. I'm gonna give her the I. Hi, Boo Thing. It's just something I noticed. So Bose, when they sit down, Bose tells them that her and her boyfriend have talked about having babies, but they have never said the words, I love you yet. She does not want to be first. She knows she loves him. She knows he loves her, but he hasn't said it, and he has to say it first. Erica's like, what? What's going on? What are we doing here? What? How you gonna have a baby? You don't even what? And so Dorit tells her, well, you need to tell him that it's weird and that you find it weird that he hasn't said it yet. And so Erica's like, no, 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 no. Don't say that. Do not take advice from a woman who's about to get a divorce. So then Dorit tells them, honey, that PK called her. And baby, she was so perked. She perked up. She's so excited. She's so happy, right? So they like, okay. And why are you so excited? Girl, don't do it. She is in for, I don't know. So anyway, she said, no, y'all, no, no, no. It's not for no reconciliation. I'm clear on that. But I don't know how to say this without confusing you guys. She kept saying that. I don't want to confuse you guys. They're like, we're not confused. You are. You're the confused one, honey. Let it out. We'll explain it to you. You're the one confused. So she asked him to slow down. She says, we need to communicate. We can't be at war and think our kids are going to be okay. So Bose asked, so this is not about the kids, it's about you? And she was like, well, I want to slow him down. No, I want to slow him down so I can catch my breath. And so Dorit says, catching my breath is about the kids. The convo was better than she expected. They like, no, girl, no. Bose is like, this feels like a trick. And Dorit looks at her like, B? She like, no, he wasn't raging. And Erica's like, ugh. And then her and Bose, they look at each other. And then Dorit hollers at Erica, stop side-eyeing. Baby, the way I would have said, I'm going to tell you real quick, sir. Sir, ma'am, sir. You better stop hollering at me before I get my purse and get up and leave. You better stop hollering at your help, okay? Watch your tone, little girl. So in Erica's confessional, she's like, child, PK is ruthless in business, which will make him ruthless in divorce. She needs to take shelter. I'm hollering it from the mountaintop, but no one's listening. So Bose is like, child, this is the art of war. He's calming you down so you won't act and he can act. I was like, that's good, Bose. That was good. So Dorit's like, what do you mean? What advantage does that? I mean, I don't get it. Like, and they just keep trying to explain it to her. They like, girl, he wants to have the upper hand on you. He knows you're smart. He's going to back you up into a corner. He knows you may strike, but he's going to try to control that. Erica's telling her, girl, he is trying to control you because he wants to run the bases on you. Bose is like, he can swoop up all the good attorneys in the town, and that will leave you with no good counsel. Like, girl, console, like a like a counselor, like a representation, a lawyer. You won't have a good one and you'll lose your case and you won't get the money you want, or he will get the money he wants. How about that? So they're like, girl, keep your eyes open. Don't stand still and let things happen to you. They told you this last week, Dorit. Dorit says, you think this is a game? Bo says, yes, wake up. So back in Augusta, Kyle calls and checks on Kathy. You know, she still is trying to help her figure out how to work a FaceTime. And I don't get what Nicole and Paris are doing. You got kids. I'm sure they always FaceTiming you. You still don't know how to FaceTime. Kathy Hilton puts the phone up to her ear still on FaceTime. So she's like, okay, I got it. Did I get it right? Kyle is like, no, it's okay. I see your hat. I see the top of your hat. So anyway, she tells Kathy that um no, Kathy tells Kyle that she had the girls over for dinner and they didn't really go into anything. It was kind of like, oh, okay, well, let me tell you, Mauricio and Portia are headed to London. And then, you know, he's going to do that with her. And then she'll have a group tour, you know, she'll have a tour guide. And then he's going to go meditate in Switzerland. And then he's going to meet up with PK and someone else in Saint Tropez. And she's like, wow, he just all over the place, huh? You're going to go from meditating to partying. Yep. And Kyle probably cried when she got off the phone. So, baby, now we got this crab cake debacle going in the house. So, Sutton's dad was the cook in the family. Her mother was not, probably because she was in school. So, he cooked everything great. Her favorite was the crab cakes. So, they're going to try to make them while they're there. This is their last day. They're coming back home the next day. So, Sutton sent the recipe and the ingredients to her mom just to make sure they all went and had everything. So at 82 years old, her mother is having problems with trying to pull it up on her phone. It's just no avail. So she can't cook. So they're going to do this for the girls. So downstairs, Sutton's downstairs with Avi trying to get it together. The chef is there. They trying to get this stuff going. And so Sutton's mother made Sutton make crab cakes the day after he passed away, which was Christmas Eve. And Sutton said she burnt them. The day after? Like, moms, come on. Y'all homies didn't bring y'all KFC. It's the South. We do that here. Someone passes, oh, we coming over with some cake, with some food. Back in the day, it was KFC when KFC was good. You could get, you know, the bucket of chicken with the coleslaw, the biscuits, the mashed potatoes and gravy, or the French fries. Child, that was the staple growing up, okay? So I'm sitting here like, well, what did y'all eat for Christmas Eve? They probably ordered a pizza. So Reba comes over, child. We finally get to get a little peek inside of her house. It's a little cluttery too. And so, baby, Reba has a dog named Dixie. You can't get more Southern than a name Dixie. Dixie is, I don't know what kind of dog it is, but one of them big, long, skinny old dogs look like they can talk. Dixie is sitting on the couch like they just got through having tea. Dixie is very well groomed. I'm sure that's her couch. No one can sit on it. And I'm sure Dixie does not play with black dogs. I can almost guarantee Dixie won't even come out that house. So Reba comes over and Sutton is showing her new clothing line. And so did y'all notice that the jumpsuit on the table was named Name 'em? Remember when Sutton was arguing with Kyle? Was that last season? Name 'em, name 'em, name 'em. I was like, oh my goodness, the shade there. So Sutton is explaining to her mother the process of how the clothes are made and everything. And they're made in London and she has to ship them out of Houston and this, that, and the half. So Reba gonna say, that reminds me of ground beef. And Sutton looking at her like, what? She said, you know how like they got the stamp on it, like it's made in the USA, but it's not, it's really made in Cuba. Miss Reba, Cuba, not Cuba, Cuba. That was funny. It was like, what? And you know, Reba's doing what Reba does. She just talking out the side of her neck. And then she go over to the bar, honey. She pour herself a drink, clear, okay? So I don't know if it was vodka, gin, or tequila. What y'all think? I'm gonna go ahead with vodka. I think vodka, because vodka is what is what Bloody Marys are made from, and martinis. So I'm thinking she's a vodka girl. So Reba's like, well, why do you think I wouldn't be proud of you? Like, I don't have to tell you. Why do you think I wouldn't be proud of you? Sutton said, because you don't say it. Duh. She said, well, I don't have to. And I'm like, Reba, read the room. Why you just couldn't have said in that moment, well, baby, I'm proud of you. And I know I don't say it. So she was like, and I'm just sitting here like, how does a therapist not know that they need to get a therapist? What is going on, Reba? Child, come on here, Reba. You have to know you need a therapist. You giving out all the advice, but you can't receive none of it, huh? So Sutton says, well, I need you to. Reba's like, well, okay, I'm proud of you. Oh, wow. Did we get that out? Did it hurt? Did you almost DIE, Reba? Goodness gracious. So then she goes, it's just such an overused word. That's like saying I love you. Like, I love you. I don't have to keep saying it. And so, she's like, that's like, you're a professional working woman. You have become me. You're a professional working woman. And Child Garcelle, Kyle, and Avi are behind the wall, ear hustling like three little children. They at the door listening to everything. They hear everything, ear hustling for real. Sutton says, well, it took time for me to become a professional, a professional woman, because I wanted to stay home with the kids. And she was like, well, fine. And she was like, well, you gave me grief about it. So what does that matter? Like, golly, why are you so combative? Like, never mind. I'd be like, I'm good. Mama, you win, I lose. I ain't got it to do. You're just too much. Keep drinking. Maybe you'll stop talking so much. Drink up, Reba. Drink up. Goodness. And so Sutton is like, well, I don't think it's trite to tell your children I love you and that you're proud of them. And so she said, well, that sounds like that's an issue with you and your friends. There she go, throwing Garcelle under the bus. And so she tells us, I was raised in the WW2 post World War II. She said, I never heard that I was pretty, and I kept on going. It didn't matter if I was pretty or ugly. I had to keep going. Mothers back then used to put their babies in a crib and let them cry. Oh, huh? What? Say what? Say what? Say what? So Sutton wanted to tell her how she felt. That's what she tells Reba. Reba says, well, thank you. Sutton says, well, I want you to come out to California. I'm having a fashion show, but I know you don't like to travel. Reba says, I'll travel for that. I'll travel. Yes, I will. She says some most smarky comments. And so Sutton tells her, I want better. And so her mother says, we can do better. And like, yeah. Well, I'm going to give you a hug. Well, give me a hug. I just ain't got to stand up, do I? No, lady, you don't. Golly. We know you can't say I love you, I'm proud of you, and hug me in the same day. We all know. Baby steps. So Sutton's like, I'm going to go get the girls so we can start making these crab cakes. Child, the way they all scattered and went in their own direction. They're at the bottom of the stairs. So Kyle runs up the stairs and acts like she's coming down the stairs. Avi ran around the corner, so she didn't see him at all. And Garcelle kind of walked back and then tried to walk towards her like she was just, like they're just coincidentally just meeting each other right there. So she's like, oh, I was about to come get y'all. She said, well, we're down here already. So Garcelle pulls her shirt and like, come here. How are you? as if she wasn't listening, right? So she said, I'm fine. If you're doing good, we talked and it's all good. And so Reba over there getting herself another pour, honey, because this was too much for her. She is tipsy, I'm believing. And Reba probably won't remember any of this conversation. So Sutton says, she wants to be a better daughter. And her mother says, yeah, a better friend. And they're like, yes, a better friend. So they're in the kitchen, they're making the crab cakes, they fried them up, they sit down. Her mother complimented the salad. This is a really good salad. And we don't know if Kyle had her grits or not. And that was the end of the episode, besties. It was really good. It was refreshing. It's what I remember from the Real Housewife franchise. Let's get into some family and let's heal, let's talk, let's connect, let's get things going. Like, this helps us, Don't be a private person on a reality show. Share your stuff, unpack it. You're helping a whole bunch of people who are watching, because there's a lot of people like Sutton and there's a lot of mothers like Reba. Okay. Well, besties, that was the end of the review. Please, once again, I'm going to remind you, like my video, please subscribe and turn your notifications on. And I'll see you on the next review. Bye, besties.